Minute. Boom. We are live. Peace. What up? What up? What up, y'all? Two-time ATL's hottest DJ, the God DJ Agony, and I got a special guest co-host tonight. My brother is in the building, man. Tell them folks who you is, what you do. Just run it down to them.
Peace, God. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for having me on the show tonight. It's always an honor, man. Anytime I'm in the building with great minds, man. My name is Jahad Youssef. I have many hats that I wear, but I always consider myself the universal man. But I'm a very passionate basketball coach. And I practice every day with a counter racist code. So I'm still learning, man. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
Indeed, man. So let me ask you this: what level you coach at?
I've coached at the middle school, elementary. I've coached at high school, college, and pro.
Man, so you've been
Now
around. So you
college, yeah, college never hired formally, but in like pro am leagues and stuff like that, I've dealt with a lot of college athletes as far as like a lot of training and a lot of coaching sessions, hoop sessions, to that degree, but never, actually hired on as far as college is.
understand. But I mean, the fact that, like I said, you've seen the game. You said from elementary all the way up to pro am and beyond. You've seen the game on multiple levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah. So
without a doubt.
where are you at right now with the? Well, let's talk about Team USA right now because Team USA basketball right now for the most part look like they struggling. When I first saw the roster, the first thing I thought was they were small. Like I saw no true bigs, and I mean, I grew up watching basketball. I always felt like you at least need one 7 footer to hold down the middle, as opposed to now when you watch a ball, you see a lot of your 6'11", 7 foot guys playing more like threes and fours and fives.
Yeah.
And it's
Um.
one of those things. I get it. Things change over time. I really feel like we adapted to more of the European style of ball. But at the same time, I mean, looking at like I said, looking at the Olympics, the world has definitely caught up with us. So that's what I'm saying. So like, have you been watching Team USA?
I watched a few games. And what you
How'd you
see going on,
how'd you
man?
feel?
Somebody tried to call me. Um, I wasn't surprised. I think what's going on, the world is catching up to USA basketball.
Hmm.
Other countries are getting stronger, they're getting smarter, they're getting more athletic. You understand what I'm saying? They're getting some of the best training. You got to look at a lot of those foreigners, man. A lot of them do play overseas, but they come over here and play in the leagues like the Drew League, the AABL.
Hmm.
Lou runs back in my hometown, so they getting great basketball and getting it at a high caliber level. But what you see going on with Team USA is, man, you get what's going on with that is USA basketball is getting exposed for having high levels of talent and not understanding the game. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's always great to have talent. It's always great to have great athleticism, but that don't win championships. That don't win games. And this ain't my comment ain't a pro LeBron thing, but what makes LeBron great, and I tell people this all the time, the one thing that Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan all had in common, they wasn't like a highly skilled player like a Kyrie with the deadliest handles or the greatest shots. I know Michael Jordan perfected the mid range, but one thing that they understood was the game, and that made them winners. And if you take a real close look at the guys in the league that can handle the ball, got the ball on the string, that can shoot lights out, they're not winners. So you got a team full of talented guys that don't understand the game and basic simple concepts and principles. You understand what I'm saying? And now it's being
Uh-huh.
exposed to where athleticism and talent don't win games. The IQ and knowing that floor does.
Right. And as you mentioned, Kobe and Jordan. It was one thing about them is that they had that killer instinct. It's like I show up to win by any means, whether it's 5 points, 30 assists, or they drop 40 and still have 10 assists or whatnot. They're gonna win regardless.
Yeah.
And that's how they show up to the game. But you're
Yeah.
right. It's
But
like
you gotta
uh, it's a lot of really athletic guys who just don't know the game of basketball. They could shoot the lights out, they could jump out the building, but in this fourth quarter situation, what do you do?
Well, you got to look at it, man. This is complete. Today's athlete, man, has a totally different mindset than the athletes of the former years, which is why I always say, the times, man, go on. These players get more advanced, but they become more psychologically inferior, in my opinion. Because
Mm,
when guys, man, they took the game serious. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't social media around. You know what I mean? Guys
mm-hmm.
wasn't posting their workouts. Guys wasn't living. They wasn't putting on the life of rock star stuff that we never seen. You now see it every day. So it's like,
Right.
man, do you want to be a ball player or you want to be a celebrity? You understand what I'm saying? And these guys are
Mm.
friends. Team USA wasn't friends with nobody across the waters. Hell, they wasn't even friends with each other, man, playing in the league. So
Yeah,
you got
that's
to
true.
consider that dynamic, man. The mindset, man, towards the game has completely changed. You understand what
That's
I'm saying? And
that's
so
true.
these guys, man, they looking at it like, yo, I'm getting a bag. Once they figure like they got the bag, there's nothing else really left to do. There's no more work to be done on the game, and that's where the biggest problem is going on there. And that's what separate, the greats in the league, like certain guys like LeBron and Kobe of the latter generation. These newer guys coming up, that's what separate these guys that work hard and respect the game.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, and goes to a comment I saw Dame Lillard make where he said, even if I don't get a ring by 35, I'll have 400 million. And so it tells you right there, that's where he's at with it. He's like, yo,
Hmm.
basketball's cool, but basketball's
And
gonna
that's the
make me rich.
mindset.
Yeah. I mean, and it was one of those things, Magic touched on
Right.
this years ago
Typically.
about, about them paying them so much that, they're gonna be celebrities and not ball players as much. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Without a
so
doubt. Without an
it's one of
absolute
those
doubt.
things. I mean,
And
and it's one of
that
those
just
things.
goes, man. That just makes me appreciate the old school a little bit more.
Absolutely, definitely, definitely, definitely. So even with that though, so last night's draft, man, where you at with it?
Uh, Close, no power, no gas. I just need. Man, I'm at the QT. They said no power, no gas. They can't even get in to use the ATM. This is crazy, G. Anyway, man. There's no power, no gas. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. I got sidetracked, man. Anyway, as far as last night draft, I think right now, man, the powers that be are trying to give. They're giving you a message, man. They finna change the whole landscape of the game. First of all,
Mm,
let's look at this thing, man. Because I like to deal with the bigger picture. I don't like small talk, and I'm not the type of person, man, to act like I don't see the big elephant in the room.
indeed.
Last night, man, was probably one of the most shittiest drafts I ever seen. I think there was
Mm,
also a point made. So I put up the post about Clutch Sports. Clutch Sports only had three first rounders. There was a pick 14, and I think 19 and 20, or it might have been 16, 19, and 20, right?
right, right.
When you go first round, man, you get guaranteed money. Now, I've been saying
Indeed.
this forever, man, that we need to create our own platform with our own leagues, okay? And this is
I
something that
agree.
needs to be done ASAP. And I say this because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, guys are creating a legacy on the European control platform, which what legacy do you really own if they really created it for you? But second of all, man,
Mm,
what they want is mindless athletic talent, meaning that they don't want to use sports as a platform, man, to deal with a lot of stuff that's going on in the world because sports really do influence the world on a major level, right?
true,
So last
true.
night, what you saw the conservative. I always say if you pay attention to the last draft classes, man, of like the last 7, 8 years or so, what you're gonna find out the top draft pick is either one of three things. He's either an unaware African that's happy to be in America. It's either a single parent home athlete that was raised by a mother who loves Jesus, nothing against Christians. And number three, it's either a kid who has one white parent and one black parent. Do your research.
No, I mean you just
Okay,
called
why
it.
is that?
You just called it.
Why is that? We all know Anthony Edwards. We all know Anthony Edwards is that dude. You and I both here in Georgia. But what did they
Right.
what did they flash in our face all the time last year? LaMelo Ball. You know what I'm
LaMelo
saying?
Ball,
A kid
facts.
who has an unorthodox shot. Yeah, he's high IQ. He has an unorthodox shot. You understand what I'm saying? But he still
Mm-hmm.
with no Anthony Edwards, and he still won Rookie of the Year, being out almost 2 months on injury.
Mm.
See, even when Ant-Man was in college, man, in high school, they didn't track him like they did LaMelo Ball. They don't want America falling in love with a dark-skinned athlete for these white kids to look up to and praise. They already had Jordan and LeBron. They can't have no more. So right now,
Right.
that's why they always pump a lot with Luka. Don't get me started on Luka. But what you saw
You know
last
what?
night in the draft was a
But I've
bunch of
been waiting
Portlanders
on
we
that
never
though.
heard of.
I'm gonna be honest. I've been waiting on you to
Yeah,
get on
and I
Luca.
be trying to tell guys, let me get on it. Because last night,
Yo.
man, I call it the Darko Milicic effect. They
Ooh.
always want some foreigner to come up and be the next white Michael Jordan. It's called the Darko Milicic. Remember, every year in the draft, they hype a foreigner. He's the next Jordan. Like last night, this Josh Giddey guy, he's the smartest player in the draft. I never even heard of the dude. So at the end of the day, it's
Mm.
kind of like how the ABA was when the NBA, when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird was coming around, the NBA was too black for white fans, so they wanted to clean it up. They didn't want the dunk. They didn't want the blocks. They wanted fundamental basketball. But fans don't
Mm-hmm.
pay for fundamental basketball. They pay for aerodynamics, behind the backs, crossovers, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
step back jumpers. That's not what fans pay for.
These are
So at the
facts.
end of the day, man, when you look at that draft class or the top class, man, you know what I'm saying? These guys, man, they trash. Cade Cunningham is not that dude. He's a great basketball player, but he's not a number one draft pick. Scotty Barnes is a second rounder easily. He went number 4 and shoots 32% from the field, G. How does that
Wow.
happen? And you got guys like Josh
Wow.
Christopher, Jaquan out of Florida State, Brandon Boston going second round. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
There's so many athletes I can name. You know what I'm saying? Going second round? That's a slap in the face. You understand what I'm
Indeed.
saying? But let me get back to what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, man, you
You throw
got
some
guys
shout
that
outs.
use their
Throw some
platform
shout
to
outs
make
right quick.
a big voice.
We got
This is what
Tyrone Hodges. What up though? Lori Hewitt. What's good? Charlie Brown. We got y'all in the building. What's happening? Y'all are in tune with the dope show. Me, DJ Agony, my brother Jihad Yusuf. We in the building. We just going through some deep sports talk, man. I mean to hold you up, man. Continue, brother.
no. So last year, man, LeBron James and Rich Paul, they pulled off some major stuff with these kids going to Sierra Canyon. BJ Boston is right out our backyard here in Georgia. So these are
Okay.
black men moving on their own terms, but they're moving on their own terms in hopes of getting on the platform that Europeans own and control. Last year,
Mm.
Clutch Sports put on that they took up an hour of ESPN airtime to show a workout for kids about to go pro. The backlash was phenomenal. Like people were angry, like why would they do this? Why would they? People didn't. They felt a certain type of way about that. Okay.
Mm.
Oh, excuse me. These guys, white folks are gonna make it known and always put Negroes back in their place. At the end of the day, Clutch Sports can sign the top athletes. But if Clutch Sports is only respected and all their players are going second round, who's gonna sign with Clutch Sports? Who's gonna want to
That's
touch Clutch
true.
Sports?
That's
That was
true.
last night was a clear cut example of that. You understand what I'm saying? Last
Mm-hmm.
year, Okori got in there with Mr. Cooper's sporting AC. Shout out to him. Shout out to that brother for getting that job done and getting his son in the league. But at the same
Indeed.
time, white folks look at that. The powers that be look at that. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna allow Negroes to come in here and outpower these Jews and Italians, man. That's in this sport agency field. So what's gonna happen? People gonna start fooling with club sports. You got to develop your own platform, man. You understand what I'm saying? And last night was a
Understand.
telltale sign about that. This is why I say, they don't want no more Kaepernicks going in the NFL standing for a just cause. They don't want no more LeBrons coming into the NBA building schools and sparking thought in kids and showing himself in a graceful way, polished. You never see him yelling and acting a fool on a mic in press conference. He married a black
That's
woman.
true.
He put all his buddies through school, and now they all business partners. He recycles
That's
the
true.
money back into his own community. He shows love for a black woman and children. He's there at his son's games. You understand what I'm saying? Now he gets
That is true.
criticized for this stuff, but if he wasn't there, and if it was just Savannah James by herself, then everybody would love that American story on the black side of it. But when you go to the white side, you can always see that they respect the father. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this thing
Mm.
with Luca, I keep
That's what
telling
I was
people
hoping.
all the time, it's all about systems. It's all about systems. Luca's in a system where he can get these points, bro. But Luca's not an elite athlete. He's a great IQ, great basketball player, but he's not an elite athlete. First of all, the NBA is an entertainment brand. I'm gonna
Mm.
say it again. The NBA is an entertainment brand. Look at the difference in the NBA as far as the TBT. When you watch a TBT game, that's basketball, drip and sweat,
Ooh.
defense. You understand what I'm saying?
I
How
love
often do
shout
you
out.
see?
to the basketball
Exactly.
tournament.
Shout out to
Shout out to
TBT.
TBT. Yo, I was watching that last night.
Yo, it's real bad. It's not entertainment, man. Them guys got stuff to play for. But how often do you see any aggressive play on Luka? How often does Luka get to the basket without calling for a screen? In Game 7, when they played the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard made the separation for what a lead is and for what a manufactured hype is. Luka on every play possession called for a screen. Kawhi Leonard went to gear number 9. Nobody could guard the man. Then turned around, played defense, literally took the balls out the hands of a man and went on the other end. Mind you, he suffered an injury, but right there, he showed what elite is and what elite ain't. But at the end of the day, the number one paying customers, man, for the NBA are white and foreign. So they have to
Mm,
have a Luca out there to keep these people satisfied. And this is what I keep trying to
mm.
tell Negroes. Oh, Luca this, Luca that. Luca ain't shit. I ain't seen him in the Drew League. If he get around some other dogs, man, that's gonna really ball up on him, man. Luca's not doing all that. You understand what I'm saying?
This is
So with
fact.
this stuff, I tell people give it 5 years. 5 years, Luca won't even be a household name. They talking
Wow.
about, well, he was a pro since he was 14 and 15. Well, let me explain something to you. Our kids not allowed to go pro over here. If our kids were allowed to go pro at 14, 15, like Luca and them, the EYBL and Gonton wouldn't even exist. Now all of a sudden, because they control the narrative, now all of a sudden these high school kids can get paid. They can get $1 million contract now. And I
Really?
said that once our kids are allowed to go pro at early age, kids like Luca will fade off to the back. Yeah. Mikey Williams just signed $1 million deal for a company. I forgot the name of it. I think it was like Excel or something like that. But all these
Hmm.
college athletes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not college, these high school with the league that Ball is Life is starting. I forgot what it's called. It's the Ball is Life started a high school league, and they're gonna get paid, bro. So at the
A
end of the
high
day,
school
our
league,
kids
they're
are
going to
just
get
now
paid?
experiencing what foreigners have been forever. They're gonna get
Wow.
paid, and that league is gonna be right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I think Ball is Life starting this. Is it Ball is Life or it's overtime? I'm sorry, overtime. They're starting a high school league, and these kids will be able to get paid. And at the same time, they college they college eligibility will not be affected. But
Now,
again,
okay.
who's
So
controlling that?
how does that work though? Because the thing is, once you take that first dollar, you're no going to consider an amateur. But how are
Now,
you
no,
still able to go to college and have 4 years eligibility?
because this was in conjunction with the NCAA. Just like how with the COVID thing, how the NCAA waived all the SAT and ACT scores. They didn't even have to take the test to get into schools. See, the thing about it is, man, this is why I'm going back to the biggest elephant in the room. I always talk about white supremacy and everything.
Hmm.
This is being done on the grid of white people, not black people, because we have not thought on our own terms or even on that own level um to move at our own logistics. You understand what I'm saying? This
Indeed.
was always going to become a thing to be, but it's just now taking place. At the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying? Kids want to see the best of the best. Look at what Jalen Green did. What's his name was the first one to actually do it without actually saying he did it was Brandon Jennings. Jalen Green didn't go to college. He went to the G League and now he getting a check because he's a pro. It's always been believed that you got to go to college and be a pro. You don't have to go to college to be a pro. Even in
But
football,
the G League didn't always exist though.
it did not always exist. But then again, let's look at this. Why did the NBA started partnering with USA? I mean, with Africa. Why does the NBA now have Africa NBA? Because African athletes are dominant, the most dominant athletes on the planet.
This is
They're all
true.
throughout the NBA. All right.
This is
China
true.
didn't want to partner with USA Basketball or the NBA. Why? Because their market is so powerful. Guys are exploring other options, man. And it's costing the NBA money because if they don't partner with Africa or try to have some type of partnership with with China basketball, the NBA
Mhm.
ain't gonna last for long because it's gonna have mediocre talent in it. So I tell guys
Mm.
all the time, man, you got to create your own legacy. But at the end of the day, the powers that be always made the rules for our children. You notice every sport that we dominate, there's so many rules, regulations, violations. You understand what I'm saying? You can't do this
Mhm.
until you do that. You can't get $1. If somebody sign you sign an autograph, somebody give you $50, you violated and shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
All that's about to become a thing in the past. But the thing with Luca, man, because I try not to, because I be having so much on my head.
Go ahead.
This thing
Hey,
about
we
Luca,
got time, brother.
Luca's a manufactured. He's a manufactured talent. I don't believe in Luca. Luca's a
Ooh.
great basketball player, but Luca ain't the type of person the GM can say, if I got this one player, you know what, we destined for a championship. You understand what I'm saying? He's not that kind of athlete. He's a great player with great IQ, but he ain't nobody to be hyping up talking about the face of the league because this past season, remember, they said he was the MVP. He was slated and looked
Mm.
upon as the MVP. 4 months into the season, they didn't even talk about him no more as being an MVP. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just like with, with, with Gordon Hayward. One year they was talking about he was gonna be the MVP. Steve Nash won it twice. Dirk Nowitzki won it twice. Every now and then you gotta have that white hype come up to keep them
I'm,
fans
and
like
I'm gonna
feeling
be
like,
honest
yo,
with
we a
you.
part of this league. We got our
And,
own.
and if you look at those 2 years Steve Nash won it, he stole them from Kobe. Those were Kobe's MVPs. He got
Yeah, just like
Kobe.
the one from last year with Giannis.
Yo,
That was LeBron's MVP. I don't
big
care how
shouts out to
you chop it up.
my boy Christian Hollis. He said Luca is a marketing machine.
Thank you. That's all he is. That's a smart man. I can't get nobody else to see this. That all he is a marketing machine. That's all Luke is. He's a marketing
Indeed.
machine. He's not anybody I would go pay to watch. And see on that squad, why you think when the season was over with, everybody trying to get away from Dallas because the NBA is an entertainment brand. Just like with the Hawks, Trae Young, he was good when he sat out that game. We played like a team, but when he came back, fans paid to see the ball in Trae Young's hand. In Dallas, fans paid to see the ball in Luka's hand. People don't want to play up under that. Just like a lot of times, people don't want to play up under LeBron. But at the end of the day, Hardaway won out, Munson won out. Then were the guys put in a lot of work, but they didn't. You didn't listen. Tim Hardaway. I remember when I watched the game. Tim Hardaway scored 39 points. Had a hell of a game. Luka
Hmm.
had one assist that game behind his back, and ESPN talked about that all night. They didn't say nothing about Hardaway's game. If guys and people can't see that, bro, I don't know what else to tell you. If they can't see
I'm,
that, I don't know what else to tell you.
wow.
I've just never been sold on it, man. You understand what I'm saying?
I did, because I've been, and the thing is, I follow your post, and I'm like, yo, Luca ain't that bad. Like he's not the hype that, and I agree with you and Christian. He's not the hype that they put him up to. Like he's all right. You know what I'm saying? But they was trying to call him like the next bird
Mm,
and this, that, and the third. I was like, nah, he's not elite. Like I would not put Luca at elite. And Luca, to me, Luca's mid tier, right
nah,
there, dead center.
yeah. He's
But
gonna fall off, and they all the man. If you look at the history of the NBA and every foreign basketball player, they all had their moments. You know what I'm saying? Manu Ginobili. Remember they was talking about him every game. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? What's the other guy? The Jokic guy. He won MVP this year. I don't know how. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
Joker,
So
yeah,
every
Jokic.
Joker, yeah. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So they hype up. They're gonna hype up a foreign, international foreign talent every now and then. They're gonna hype them up every so often, and that's neat. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like I say, man, they getting tired of us dominating everything. Just like going back to the unaware African. I already told you that Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a little inside lead with some guys and stuff like that. Giannis throws a
Mm-hmm.
lot of shade at American international. National foundational players. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Mm.
but this is something that a lot of people are unaware of. But that's who they're gonna get an MVP to, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, man, the NFL, the NBA, man, they want people to where they just want them to come, just play ball and shut up and shoot, dribble and shut up and shoot. You know what
But
I'm
and
saying?
you know
Run the
what?
football, and that's it.
And when you bring up Giannis, it's like you say unaware Africans. This man is very African, but he's developed the moniker the Greek.
Mm,
But
exactly. Yep.
but his nationality is what? Cameroon? I want to say.
Something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very brainwashed people. That's why when people be talking about after this, after that, a lot of people brainwashed. And here's the thing, man. It starts before the pro level. And I've been saying this forever. I got a DM from a buddy of mine with this college stuff. These white males control the destiny of black players. I'm gonna say it again.
Mm.
White men control the destiny of black players. The number one thing that they do is psychoanalyze these boys the minute they get to school. When my son was being recruited, all right,
Okay.
if my daughter's
Speak on
mom,
that.
if she wasn't on code, it would have worked. They called her all the time. She would direct them to me. We stayed, we're together, we're a couple, live together under the same roof, but they always called her instead of dealing with me. She always directed them to me. In high school, when my son was being heavily recruited, when he was at Grayson,
Is that
I'll be
Grayson? I
damned because
remember.
of the name that I have. Those coaches, when they saluted the flag, 1, 2, 3, Their own code. They wanted to see if I was standing up saluting the flag. And then they're going to analyze my son to see if he got any bit of his father in him. We need to keep him on alert. Instead of sending him to that D1, we're going to send him to the D3. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm,
They're trying to keep
mm,
these elements out of professional sports. So at the same time, when you get to college, bro, it doesn't get any better. These coaches have relationships. Hey, what is he like? Yeah, he's a great athlete. You know what I'm saying? He loves the Lord. He, he loves the Patriots. He's going to the league. But if you be like, hey man, what is this kid like? Well, they're very politically in tune people. I kind of admire that, but that's a cold word. Like, don't touch this nigga. You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
you're
And so
leftist.
what's going on now? And you're leftist, right? And what's going on now is that what they finding out is when these kids get to college, they're finding out an ugly reality. If these kids don't play the role and play their part, they don't get no pro day. They don't get shot to these coaches. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, I seen it with my own hands. You know what I'm saying? Just like with the thing that went down in Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? With the kid Cameron Fletcher. I personally know those people from St. Louis. And I've been saying the whole time, how do you get all these five-star recruit athletes and now all of a sudden they can't hit a shot? They can't make a layup? I said, no. I said,
Mm.
that's all Calipari. I said, something's going on in that locker room. He lost him. See, with them, man, white men are about building a legacy. They could give two fucks about your child. Because if your kid wasn't 7 feet tall, could dribble a basketball, they have no value to them. I
Right.
made a
Hey,
pitch years ago that the NCAA, man, they owe a lot of money to the black community because you're picking the fruit from these at-risk youth in these same inner cities. What do you do about kids that can't dribble or shoot the basketball since you want to act like you love them so much? What happens to those kids? You understand what I'm
that is
saying?
true.
But at the end of the day, for some reason, we as a people think it's a blessing when somebody goes to college or goes to the league. That's not a blessing. That's access. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing God created or control or own. That's nothing we control, create, or own. That's everything that Europeans create, control, and own. So when you
Right.
say, man, we've been blessed, you ain't been blessed. You just lucked up with a child with genetics, man, that's sizable with talent. That's it.
Genetics.
That's not a
That's true.
blessing.
That's
That's an
true. That,
examination.
mm, that's mm. Let's go back to the word you use, access though. Now let's just
Mhm.
say we use said access because when you look at the whole scenario of Spook who sat by the door, he used
Mm.
access to get in to infiltrate. Now, is that happening, or even is that still possible? Like, is that mind state still out there? You know what I'm saying?
That's a that's a great question. That's a great question, and I'm gonna answer like this. And because I do understand white supremacy, how it works, and what it looks like, and I am an avid, and I'm a student, a vanguard for the teachers and nearly for them. You ain't fooling white supremacists at all. Remember in the movie when they
You fading out. Damn, we missing shit, y'all. We missing good information right here. Damn. I love that movie too, y'all. Yo, peace, G. You faded out on me.
got me,
There you go. All
all
right.
right.
Run
So
run that whole thing back. Start at remember in the movie.
remember in the movie, see, white supremacists are prepared for when black people are gonna eventually wake up and get it right. They're waiting for they know this day is coming. You understand what I'm saying? They've prepared
Mhm.
500 years in advance for us, bro. So remember in that movie, because when people be like, "Man, I'm just gonna get in, I'm gonna do this," and white folks know every move that we plan on making. So remember in the movie when they was all in the room talking shit and they thought they was alone, and the white dudes was in another room watching them on camera, and they had a mic on them.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's no different, bro. You're not fooling these people.
Mhm.
They know what we trying to do. They know we trying to get access to everything that they hold the cards to. This is why I'm adamant about us creating our own platforms, man. I can't stress it. If we have to create our own platforms, man, I can't stress it no more than that. You understand?
Mhm.
So, because like at the end of the day, Ice Cube has already showed us there's a market for it. Because anytime people gonna pack arenas, man, to watch has-been NBA players, man, that's close to their 50s, there's a market for us to start our own platform. Anytime you
I
look at the TVT when it's real basketball, because people thirsting for that, and you look at how the ratings went up, the sponsorship went up,
mhm.
the TV time,
Mhm.
the audiences, it's people looking for real basketball, but we just don't think on the level of wanting to create our own. We want to cry and complain because it's not enough black coaches in the NBA. It's not enough black coaches in the MLB. They own that shit. They created it. So fucking what? Why not create our own platform and create as many black coaches as you want? Bludgeon our own leagues with black coaches. But we don't think on these terms. Now, I'm not saying it hasn't happened or hasn't been tried because the game the white folks play is a dirty one because they got the ability to fund you out.
These
Because
are
at the end
facts.
of the day, you got to find a pioneer group of athletes. You got to find a pioneer group of athletes that's willing to be like, you know what? I may not ever be that multi-million-dollar athlete, but I'm gonna be a part of history, and I'm gonna be a part of starting this league, and I'm gonna be respectable. It's gonna be a respectable league because we're gonna give all we got. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna create this avenue and let it blow up, just like that arena over there that 2 Chainz built. It's like $40 million or something like that, right? Have you seen that arena? I
Oh
think
well,
like
so
the Hawks,
he
the
actually
Hawks G League play there.
so I didn't know he actually built an arena. Last time I heard about the team that he had, they were playing in the Georgia International Convention Center. So he actually built an arena for him.
I thought it was like an arena. I thought it was an arena. It might be. I thought it was an arena. But
It might
what I'm
be
saying is,
because
I
I
could be
mean
wrong, but I actually thought it
the
was an arena built
the
specifically for
convention
the.
center is the convention center is huge. So if he took a part of that and made it into an arena, that's very well possible. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. The thing about that is though, man. But if it is, I've seen it, and that's all
Hmm.
it takes to start it. You don't have to build a Philip Arena size arena. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. You start small and you grow that brand. You can start it small. You can build arenas the size of high school gyms and start packing them out around the country, bro. Like it can be done. You can get the sponsorship. You can get the TV deals. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
and man, it's just so much I want to really go off into. But that's what I'm all about, man. And I just try to get people to see the bigger picture that everything that's going on with professional sports, college, and high school, it's not normal. It's not a natural coincidence. These things are controlled and they're done by design. You understand what I'm saying? They're
Mm,
done by design, bro.
mm.
So my thing of it is, man, instead of crying for crumbs at the table, build your own. You know what I'm saying?
Build
Be the
your
legs
own
of your own
table.
table. Build your
Build your
own
own
platform.
table. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where it should be. And the thing is, when you think about like, I mean, let's think about like when about early 2000s, late 90s, when and one was out here. Nobody really bought and ones. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
was Nikes, Adidas, or Reeboks. And one on the
Yes.
backs of a lot of street ball players built that thing until they went
Mm-hmm.
from just playing at local parks to when I discovered them, they were playing in college
Mm-hmm.
gyms. And then after that, next thing you know, they're playing in
Mm-hmm.
the NBA arenas in the local cities they're in. But if you go back and
Exactly.
you watch a lot of those interviews, all those guys have the same mindset. Like, well, we want to go to the league. We want to take and one to go to the league. But and one
Mm-hmm.
had such a big thing. Do you remember by the time they made it to TV, ESPN had shopped them a deal. They was on ESPN like I want to say it was like every
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday night. Mountain Dew was sponsoring. Lay's was a
Yeah.
sponsor. Like they had started
Yeah.
getting big name
Yeah.
sponsorship. It was one of those things like y'all had it. Y'all were right there at the cusp, and those
Yeah.
guys were making money. Like they're playing a summer league where they're averaging like 40 to 50,000 in a summer.
Yeah.
They were at the cusp and literally dropped it.
Yeah.
Literally in a matter of about 3 summers, they dropped it.
But that's because everybody, all the sponsors started to drop. See what I'm saying?
Mm,
See, when it talks about
mm,
platforms, man, you got to see. You got to see. It's just like what Neely Fuller talks about in all 9 areas of activities: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Now, let's say a
mm,
Mountain Dew was black-owned sponsor. It may have never been dropped. Let's say if there was a TV network like BET that could have picked up their contract, that would have never dropped. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Let's say if they had the same designers that Nike and Adidas had that signed on and one and kept them in the game. You know what I'm saying? It would have never dropped because you got to remember, not too long after that, Under Armour came on the scene, and Under Armour had the weirdest looking, gookiest, bulky space boot shoe I ever seen. But now look at them today. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, shout out to
it's
Steph
all
Curry
about.
on that one.
Yeah, and the thing about it, and the thing I have yet to see us execute is crowdfunding.
Crowd,
Crowdfunding.
you said crowdfunding?
Crowdfunding.
Speak on
You
that.
know what? If you so let's say okay, I'll speak on it like this. Crowdfunding is simply a way of us pooling our resources together, right? In an unconventional way. Where you just, you know what I'm
Mm,
saying, we all come together, you know what I'm saying, with trustees to have with the monetary gains, right? And I ain't no banker, so I'm just gonna keep it as plain as possible. So let's say we want to create this league and we want to build arenas for 15 cities. Well,
Okay.
if you take the number of non-white people in each city, and let's say each city has at least a population of 100,000. Each family household can donate as minimum as $25 per household. You got your arena. Each family families could donate as less as $10. You got your arena. You got a TV station. You got a radio station. You know what I'm saying? You can start to come and start funding your own projects, independent of European hands and European interference. Now that's where the challenge is gonna come in, because again, like Claude Anderson says, this racism is like it's a game, it's a race, it's a competition to dominate.
It- the
That's all
race,
it is.
absolutely, absolutely. Keyword in racism is a race, and racism is just that. I mean, race is just that. A race is a game. It's a competition. Who's going to get there first? It's the
Yeah,
basis of any race. I
yeah.
agree.
Because
Mm.
if you look at it, if you look at all the sports and every coach that they say was ever great and ever existed, they all built their legacy off of black athletes. So at
This is
what
true.
point do we say, you know what, we see the bigger game? Because I'm telling you, some of the best coaches I know ain't white. A lot of those Coach
Mm.
K's and a lot of Coach Cal's, man, that's privilege, because you know what I'm saying, the people that look like them own them and hire them. It's a
Right.
legacy building thing. You understand what I'm saying? Statues,
Absolutely.
documentaries, auditoriums named after them,
Absolutely.
right?
I mean, because when I look
And
at it,
can't even out coach.
when I look at it, the Hawks' best coach was Lenny Wilkins.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
And how often do we hear
beyond.
about him?
Not at all. Not no more. Not since he's not coaching here anymore. But Lenny Wilkins was the best thing that ever happened to the Hawks.
The
And he was a
home,
brother.
right? But right. And who's the home run king?
Hank Aaron.
Barry Bonds. And who's behind him? Hank Aaron. But they never talk about him in MLB. And that's another thing. If they don't get you there, they're gonna smear your legacy. You either gonna have a legacy smeared, or you're not gonna outlive your own legacy.
That is true.
Let's go with Kobe Bryant.
That is very true.
People not calling the bullshit on Kobe Bryant. I'm gonna call the bullshit. See, let me
Speak on
explain
it.
something to you. I
Look,
always
hey,
tell black people when they
you
always
here on a
talking
dope
about
show. Speak on that
they
shit.
always talking about, you know what I'm saying, black people always talking about creating generational wealth. You name me anybody you know black that's created generational wealth for 3 generations. It'll never
Three.
happen in the system of white supremacy racism. Now,
Mm.
Prince siblings just sold his estates. That's gone forever. Now let's look at Kobe Bryant. I always would ask, man, you know what I'm saying? He had the Mamba Academy. And when he passed, I would always go on their lives and ask who inherits the academy? Who inherits the academy? They blocked me, right? Kobe Bryant was in a battle with Big Pharma, all right? At that time, the product body armor was his product, right?
You talking
As
about the
soon as
drink?
he passed, the drink, that was Kobe Bryant's baby,
Are you
okay?
serious?
So as
I
soon
drink
as,
that shit.
very
That's
serious,
my. I don't drink Powerade no more. By Powerade Gatorade, I drink Body Armor
yeah,
now.
go do your research. He was in a court battle with Big Pharma. Now, soon after he died, now you see his body armor drinks everywhere and commercials everywhere. Why
Oh
did why did
wow.
Nike cancel his contract? Why don't he have a lifetime contract? See that money, once you don't have no lifetime contract, where does the money go? Did they take care of his spouse and his children, his
It,
offsprings? Let's
nah,
really dig deep into this shit.
it goes back into Nike.
You name
Correct.
you name me one black athlete that you love that don't have their legacy smeared. And I can give you a comparison to a white one who's never had their legacy smeared. See, this shit is deep,
uh,
bro. This shit is
yeah.
deep.
I
That's
mean,
why I think the way that I do. That's why I speak on what I speak on.
hey, and that's why you the guest on the Dope Show tonight. Like, people need to hear
Yeah,
this. People need to hear this. And if I got a platform and my brother got a voice, man, come on here and talk that shit, man. We here for it.
no
We
doubt.
definitely here
Are they
for it.
ready
You
to
know
hear
what I'm
this?
saying?
Because niggas love white folks. I've been saying it for years, man. They said niggas don't like me because it's coming from me. As soon as a white man come on with blonde hair, they gonna believe every damn thing he said. I've been saying this shit for years, bro. Talk about
Almost
the
lost,
miseducated Negro.
man. Big shouts
Yeah,
out. Big shouts
yeah,
out.
man.
But
So
no, I mean no,
that's
but
why
that's
I stepped
real
away
though.
from. That's why I stepped away from coaching. Yeah.
Really?
That's why I stepped away from coaching, man. Let's talk about because I'm a coach demand that schools never hire me because I'm alpha, I'm masculine, and I'm heterosexual. Now go look at your average high school coach. Go look at that. Go examine the average high school coach. Who's putting them in those positions? They beta males, lesbians, or a white man. And you best believe it's a white man that hired. He ain't gay.
How,
Only the black female and the male is gonna be a gay coach that they hire, or he's a beta male, or they gonna make sure he's as far as from race as possible. They look at me and be like, no, he's gonna be a problem. Why? Because any athlete I get, I'm gonna unconfuse him. Because what you don't understand, what people don't understand is I'm not telling the kid nothing new about basketball that he ain't learned since the time he was little. He knows how to run an offense against a 2-3. He knows how to set screens. They can all dribble and shoot. What am I telling him? No, I'm gonna give him life jewels and lessons to empower him psychologically, because that's why white kids are now dominating black kids. You'll see it all day long in AAU. Two black teams go against each other, tooth and nail. Go against a white
mm-hmm.
team and lay the fuck down because psychologically they've been depleted. That ain't
Mm.
me. I don't have to teach a kid shit about basketball, but I could teach them about Jean Jacques Dessalines when they never heard of that legacy. And once they learn, be like, oh, that really happened. So now when they take to the court, man, they working with something different intellectually and psychologically. Like, yo, these motherfuckers are superior. They play great basketball. They got good body language when they take shots. They're calm and cool under pressure. The parents are in the stands, quiet, calm, and collected. You understand what I'm saying? That's the shit that I'm on, bro. Man,
Indeed. I
bro.
mean, it
Yo,
ain't just gonna be, you know,
yo,
and
G,
my
man, I be
brother out here
trying.
telling y'all, he just ain't out here creating just another nigga with a ball. Like, I mean, building minds, building the student part of the student athlete. Because and
Exactly.
that's real. That's real. Like, yo, and as an educator, I've had coaches come to me 2 days before
Mm-hmm.
game night. Hey man, can you pretty much make sure he could play? They trying to ask me without asking me, yo, go in
Mm-hmm.
there and turn that 57 to 100 right quick so he
Mm-hmm.
eligible in 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Yeah.
he could try to come out to school, but other than that, I'm not making miracles happen. I'm not cheating for him because in at the
Yeah.
end of the day, as an educator, I want him to be more of a good student than a good athlete. Be a
Exactly.
student because the thing
Yeah.
is, you're gonna be a student as long as you live. Like even as an educator, and I've been in this field on and off for the last 9 years, but I'm always learning to be a better
Yeah.
teacher, to
Yeah.
have more to teach. I always have to stay
Yeah.
learning.
Yo, that's showing improving. That's showing improving some law of supreme mathematics.
Indeed,
That's all that is.
understanding your cipher, all being born to that
Yeah.
understanding. Did,
Yeah,
did
G. But yeah, man, I got family in town, G. I'm gonna have to cut it short tonight, man. But listen, man, I want to come back on the show. All right. I want to
absolutely,
come back on the
absolutely.
show and I want to present some other information because I really can't get deep into it. 'Cause my mind all over the place. I got a bunch of family in town tonight. We finna bowl. So yeah, man. But I definitely want to come back on the show and I want to build on a variety of things and whatever you got questions on from some of the posts, let's get into it because the one thing I don't understand is, if a person, like I said, most people that DM me are white people. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? A lot of mine
Hmm.
won't do it because they just want to take it on face value, not understanding what I'm saying. Just let's get into the spiel because I can break it down. I can give it all the elaboration that you need, and I can break it down where the understanding is understood.
Indeed, indeed. Yo, as long as I got a platform and that box is over, well, hold up, it's on this side because it's kind of mirrored. So I got to point with my left, even though you're on my right on the screen. As long as that box is on that right side and I
Yeah.
got a platform, you always got a seat, brother. You always got a
Hey
seat.
man, I appreciate you, man.
Indeed,
I
indeed.
appreciate you.
Yo,
And I'll
y'all
be
just
back
check.
soon, man.
Y'all just checked into the 43 and 3/4 minutes of probably the most powerful shit you done ever heard. This is the Dope Show. I am your host, two-time ATL's hottest, the God, DJ Agony, my brother Jihad, yourself in the building, man. And we're gonna check out 1180 Sigma Road, San Francisco Surf and Turf. I'll be there at 9:30. Y'all come through, have a drink with your boy, buy your boy a drink, come kick good shit. And then after that, we'll do it all over again. Until the next time, it's the God. Peace.
Peace, God. Send me that address. I might pull up when I leave.
Will do. Peace.
Peace.